Hi everyone, I'm Melody and I'm the project manager of the Sustainable Diner project, and today we will be talking about planet-based diets. I am now ready to serve you with our today's menu of knowledge. First on our list will be the discussion on our current eating patterns, how our food choices affect our health and our environment. Then lastly, we will also talk about the recent report published by WWF last year regarding planet-based diets. Since we will be talking about a relatively new and interesting topic, it is important to know the rationale behind. Why is it important for us to do the necessary shift in our consumption patterns? A lot of researches and studies have been conducted regarding our current food consumption. And globally, it has been found out that people are under-consuming healthier food. Meaning, less yung pagkain natin ng fruits and vegetables and also our plant protein and fat sources like nuts and legumes. We are also consuming highly processed foods which also contains vast amounts of sugar and fat. Another notable trend in consumption is our increased intake of meat products where we get majority of our protein sources. The latest food consumption survey in 2018 by the Food and Nutrition Research Institute of the Department of Science and Technology showed that Filipinos generally do not meet their dietary energy requirement. In this slide, we can concretely see the amount and the type of food Filipino adults, elderly, pregnant, and lactating women normally consume. Inarguably, the highest intake would be cereals and cereal products, given that rice is our staple food and is our main source of energy. Next to cereals, we also highly consume fish, meat, and poultry. You can also notice that we consume relatively low in terms of vegetables, fruits, dried beans, nuts, and seeds. To contextualize further on our inadequacy and excessiveness of protein among the four groups, the report shows that all age groups mentioned have excessive intake of protein. True enough, the Philippines, according to a UK-based think tank Chatham House, we are one of the fastest growing meat eaters in the world. The world's livestock sector is growing at an unprecedented rate, and this is because of a combination of population growth, rising incomes, and urbanization. It includes the statistics on the top 10 of the fastest growing meat consuming nations, of which our country, the Philippines, is one of the highest continuing growth rates. Annual meat production is projected to increase from 218 million tons in 1997 to 376 million tons by 2030. So now, why are we zeroing in on meat? What does it have to do with planet-based diets? According to the World Health Organization, food-related illnesses are the leading cause of death globally and are mostly your non-communicable diseases or your chronic diseases. Your NCDs are illnesses that cannot be passed on from person to person and are usually caused by genetic, physiological, environmental, and lifestyle factors. Each year, 15 million people die from an NCD between the ages 30 and 69 years and are usually linked to meat-based diets. So this pertains to our consumption of beef, pork, chicken, egg, and dairy. Other examples of your NCDs include your heart diseases, your stroke, diabetes, and cancer. In addition, overconsumption of food in general lead to being overweight or obese. This trend is not new for Filipinos. Among the top 10 leading cause of mortality or deaths in the country, 6 are non-communicable and 4 are the major NCDs such as your cardiovascular disease, cancers, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, and diabetes mellitus. Diseases of the heart have been consistently the number one cause of death here in the country for several years now, and more than 1 in every 5 deaths is caused by it. So, alongside the growing nutrition-related chronic diseases, we also see an increase in environmental impacts of unsustainable consumption and production. In order for us to supply the food for the growing population, agriculture uses 50% of land globally. This, in turn, leads to habitat loss of species, depleting our existing biodiversity. And this also uses the planet's natural resources at a maximum capacity, such as your water use, topsoil tillage, seafood, and other food supply. Then this eventually leads to one-third of the food being wasted. Agri-food industry contributes to almost a third of the total greenhouse gas emissions, noting that your livestock production is the largest global source of your methane and your nitrous oxide, two particularly potent greenhouse gases. So now, seeing the facts, how does your everyday routine of eating solve the burden of disease and the deteriorating state of our planet? What are planet-based diets? The results of planet-based diets are high in human health benefits and low in environmental impacts. Planet-based diets is not a new way of eating, but a flexible way of considering how diets can be adopted to local context, comprising of healthy food produced within planetary boundaries, and it basically discourages overconsumption of any foods and encourages agrobiodiversity. Planet-based diets are not just about what we eat, but also how our food is produced and where it comes from. So what are the guiding principles of planet-based diet? First, promote food choices that reduce environmental impacts while improving human health. Overconsumption of any food is discouraged, especially if it negatively impacts biodiversity, the environment, and human health. In particular, a large body of evidence has shown that reducing overconsumption of animal-sourced foods by increasing relative consumption of your plant-based food confers both environmental and health benefits. Second, promote food choices that support production that protects, conserves, and restores biodiversity and sustainably uses natural resources. WWF supports food that is produced within planetary boundaries. This requires producing food in ways that there is zero expansion of new cropland or any agricultural land at the expense of natural habitats. Second, it should protect and conserve all natural ecosystems, including marine and freshwater systems, coastal habitats, and wildlife. Third, there should be zero loss of biodiversity, preserves the ecosystem functions upon which food production depends on, and reduces food loss and waste. Third, embrace flexible food choices that are healthy and sustainable and that embody rich and diverse diets and traditions globally. WWF does not believe in a one-size-fits-all diet. Rather, healthy and sustainable diets should reflect the diversity, culinary traditions, and needs around the world. This may include many dimensions of an individual's life, such as cultural identity, geography, and livelihood, as well as the changing nutritional needs of individuals at different life stages. And the fourth principle, support just transitions to healthy and sustainable diets for all, with fair and equitable sharing of the cost and benefits arising from these transitions. The transitions to healthy and sustainable diets will alter social, economic, and environmental conditions for many people. With this, we must ensure equitable access to affordable, healthy, and sustainable food for all, and to ease, incentivize, and support such transition. Planet-based diets is the key to restore the health of both consumers and the planet. These diets can take many forms, but should have shared traits. Number one should be high in human health, and number two, low in environmental impacts. So if you want to learn how to incorporate the principles of planet-based diets in menu development, watch the next video of this training module. If you want to learn more about planet-based diets and other initiatives of WWF through the Sustainable Diner Project, Follow our social media pages and visit our website at wwf.org.ph.